Go ahead. What do you want to say?
So it's a question for both of y'all, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about. All right. So I want to ask you a question. All right. What do you guys think about this passport bro thing? About the men flying out the country to find women who they think are more wifeable.
Feminine.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
Fresh, you want to take it first?
Yeah, so I think it's a phenomenon where guys have just chose a route that's less issues and less stress, because obviously dating in America is not what it used to be. And if you look at it from a standpoint of how they're being indoctrinated, it's TikTok, them living their lives, and, for example, being like that. No care in the world, just doing what they want, and they're equal to men or above men. And that stance just leads you to want to not date, because now I'm dating a man or someone like me, and I don't do that. So going overseas is I would say, a method to kind of find a more feminine woman. But I would also say, if you go overseas to find another woman, if you're not actually a confident man and you're sure of yourself, you may end up in the same scenario as America. Mm-hmm. So guys go to Colombia, they go to Brazil, and more often than not, they may find a 5 or 6. But if they don't have that actual foundation of a real man and what it actually means to be that real man, they're going to take advantage of 100%. So I think it's a good method in theory, but if you're not practical about it, you can get destroyed easily as well.
So it's because you're looking for a woman to be more feminine, not because the women here are more gold diggers.
Ghetto.
Well, I feel like on some level, every girl is a gold digger because she wants to have access to money, maybe be a stay-at-home mom, or just be comfortable, which is fair.
I would say standards.
You call it standards.
Definitely.
But then again, if you look at it from the guy's point of view, he's like, okay, I want a girl that's gonna obey me, submit to my authority, and at the same time, I'll take care of her, show her a good lifestyle, but she has to deserve it. Here in America, girls are like, I'm a boss, babe, I'm independent, we equals. No, we don't want that.
They want
Right.
a dumb from scratch that don't know nothing.
Well,
See, I didn't say that either. That's another extreme.
In simple
I didn't
terms,
say
in
that.
simple terms.
But
Well, I'll take a dumb from scratch
They want somebody
over.
with the American
over
dream
that.
that don't know nothing, so they could.
All right, so
basically, men don't want to date men. If that makes
right.
sense.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
We want actual women
So
that
it's
are
okay
feminine.
for them to want, or like society calls them, be gold diggers if they're in another country, as long as they're feminine. Because that's what I think sometimes.
Well, again, like I said before, if you look at it from our point of view, most of you or all of you are pretty much gold diggers. It doesn't matter.
100% correct.
As you say, some have a bigger shovel than others, but you're still holding
I
the
mean,
shovel.
everybody nowadays is materialistic in their own ways.
Some just have
Well,
a way of
it's
showing
survival
it.
because you want to actually have a good family that's
No, most
financially
definitely,
secure,
most
so I
definitely.
get it. It's fun. It's survival at best. So
So here's the thing. When it comes to this whole passport bro movement, it's a pretty valid response to the degradation of Western women, right? And what I mean by this, I wrote down 3 things why a lot of guys leave the United States. Number 1 is disrespect of men generally. 2nd, happiness over family. And then 3rd, masculinized and career oriented, right? And I'll kind of go through each one real quick. So disrespect of men generally. I would say 80 to 90% of women don't respect 80 to 90% of men. They just don't, right? They might look at them as like, oh, this guy's here, but they're virtually invisible because most women don't even see most guys, right? And then most women also don't see most men as an even valid counterpart, right? They're like, oh, I'm better than this, I could do better, because women make their own money. So they don't need to go ahead and align themselves with a guy who has lower value if they make their own money, right? And that kind of comes into the whole masculinized, career-oriented. A lot of women will put their career and earning money over a family, right? And then happiness over family. We have no-fault divorce. Women will destroy the family because they're not happy, versus a man will destroy himself and not be happy for the family. You know, women are far more likely to end relationships. They're far more likely to initiate divorce. They're harder to please. So with all of these things kind of working in tandem, this is a big reason why there's been an exodus of men leaving the United States and going to other countries where women are far more traditional. Now, I know you said before that guys want a girl that's from scratch, whatever. You're kind of right. What I mean by this is girls don't come pre-assembled, right? Unless they come with a good father. A lot of the times, as the man, it's your job to impart your wisdom and make her the best girlfriend and eventually wife for you. And the problem is, a lot of girls have this mindset where I'm going to do my thing and a guy's just going to accept me at the end of the road. And that's not what men want. There's a reason why men prefer younger, fertile, and more impressionable because we're supposed to be the leaders. So if I'm supposed to be the leader, you need to be able to follow my lead. But the problem is that a lot of women are told and think that they should be the leaders in a relationship, and it doesn't work that way. So basically, we have a kind of a fucked up dating marketplace in the West where a lot of guys are like, you know what? If I got to go ahead and be a provider anyway, and I have to go ahead and, get my shit together, let me go ahead and get with a woman that's more traditional, that's going to understand and respect me. One of the biggest things is Western women don't respect men in general.
Yep.
I mean, look, you guys could see it right now with those two, right? Obviously, that's a sensationalized version of it, but the only difference between them and other women is like they actually enact on it and say what they think. A lot of girls look at it like, oh, most of your niggas are bums. You don't even deserve this, blah, blah. So unless you're a top tier guy, you're going to have a very difficult time garnering respect from a majority of women. Like that's just kind of what it is because women make their own money. So since they make their own money, a lot of guys don't qualify. Since a lot of guys don't qualify, they feel as though that they're better.
Could you imagine your husband or your guy, you make most of the money? Would you respect him 100%? Let's be real here. You're making most of the money. He's depending on you to support the family.
That happened to me already.
And where's he now?
He's not in my life because we weren't in alignment. But yes, I took care of him when he was down. And I still respected him because it was just a season of his life that he was down.
Did you initiate the divorce?
I did.
And that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like that's like a very common thing. And I'm not saying that's a pick on you, but like women overwhelmingly initiate divorces and breakups.
We had a guy we did a video reaction to. He married this woman. He had a thriving channel on YouTube. He did Yu-Gi-Oh cards, like the card games, whatever. And she hated that. She's like, you know what? Don't do that no more. Be a real man. Go to school. He did what she said. Went to school. Dropped the card game. Sold his channel. You know what she did? Divorced his ass.
Why?
Because she said to him, okay, well, you know what? You're doing better now. You can find some more hobbies, right, babe? You know what he did? All right, I love Yu-Gi-Oh. I'll go back to it. Divorce his ass. And again, he was actually...
He also made less money doing a 9 to 5.
Yeah, exactly. Made less money and is catering to her versus being the man and saying, this is what we're going to do. So having that control and having that respect goes a long way.
Yeah, I mean, as a guy, you don't want to get with a girl or a woman and she doesn't listen to what you say. Like, there's, whether it's Islam, Christianity, Judaism, whatever, all of them say you're better off, what is it in the Bible? You're better off living on the roof of your home in the corner than sharing a home with a quarrelsome woman.
Yeah.
So, and how is it that like every different civilization and religion and group of people understood that, masculine quarrelsome women is a problem? That should tell you something, right? They didn't have technology or cell phones to talk to each other like, hey man, my bitch is acting crazy over here in Mexico. Yeah, same thing over here in China. No. But they just naturally understood that, and it's only, we only are able to do things that we're doing now because we have technology and modern society. But anytime you look at like a poor country or human beings are fighting for survival, men naturally become men, women naturally become women. But since we live in a civilized world now, we've civilized it so much where women forget that they're actually women. And they can't do a lot of stuff. Look at these two women, how they behaved, right? Like, they behave that way, acting ridiculous, etc. We live in such a civilized society that they can behave that way with zero consequence.
And get away with it.
And get away with it. Right? Because the threat of violence, right, for men is kind of almost gone. It does happen, of course, don't get it twisted. But what I'm saying is it's not like we live in a modernized world where there's police, there's all these protection things, and people kind of forget what we're actually capable of.